You want to go fish? You want to go fish? Alright, we've been absolutely murdering the trout lately, but even I was hard-headed today. I started off looking for trout, pressed it, had a big cold front come through in the last 2 days, blew all the water out of here, but I've done so good with the trout, I just thought that even with the dirty and low water, I could still catch some. Only caught one. Spent way too much time doing that. Don't make the mistake I made today. When you get these big cold fronts, you're fishing right after it. Bluebird skies, super low water. Go into your favorite marsh canals that have reds and bass and maybe even some trout and get out of that lake. The lake is very, very tough right after a front. Let's see what we can do in here. There we go. The bass kind of ganged up right here. Little chucker. This fish here is wider than he is long. Little tall guy there. All right, what I'm using today, got the old trusty lemon head. One of my absolute favorite stain water baits. Anytime you get a cold front, where it blows all the water out, it's always going to be turned up when that happens. And water goes from being medium to high to low that fast. That means that tide's really moving at 100 miles an hour. And you want to use something with a little brightness to it. Something to get these fish's attention. And right now, we're on the bass pretty thick. We're going to mess with them and maybe mosey on down and see if we can run into the reds too. When you want to come into these marshy canals in the winter, or at least what tells me to get out of the lake and try these canals is whenever I can see mud really heavy coming off the shoreline. If you look, when I was running in here too, this water usually pushes all the way up to the marsh line there, but the water's so low from that west wind, it's off the marsh line a good, I don't know, 10 feet, 10 yards at some places. And that's what it does, is it sucks all of the fish out of the little creeks and ponds and so forth, and it forces them all into the main canal. So it makes it very easy to catch them once you find a bayou with some life. You just want to throw up towards the edge of the little marsh there and just work it off the drop-offs. You don't want to throw it all the way up against the bank because it's gonna, that's land up there. In the fall time, you might be working jerk baits or top waters over that, but now that's solid land due to the low water. There's a redfish. There's a red daddy. Hold on, Simba bud. We on a serious school of fish right now. Let's see what we can do with them. And whenever you fish in the winter time in the marsh for bass and reds, when you catch one bass or one red, you want to stop. Don't just keep flying down the canal. This is whenever fish they'll bass, especially bass and redfish, this is when they'll congregate and they'll school up real thick. Right now it's kind of small reds, but as we go down the shoreline, maybe we'll get into some bigger ones. Let this little feller go, huh, Simba? See ya. All right, you can see this little ditch coming out of the marsh here and entering the main canal. And when you're going down the bank, that's the kind of stuff that you want to focus on. Not that everyone's gonna have fish on it, but when you find the right one, you can catch 20 reds or maybe 20 bass or maybe 20 trout all without moving the boat. So look for those little things that are subtle differences, like a little ditch coming out. I can see this water pouring into here. And make sure you just don't fly by those. Give that a good valiant look, because these fish will group together real tight. And if you can just find that very tight circle that those fish are in, that's how you can catch quick limits. All right, we ran into a real one here. We ran into a real one. Oh, buddy. Come on. Oh, look at this dude. Big old drummer boy. Little slam going on here. Started off with bass, caught a couple reds. Now we're on to the drum. When you do this in the Louisiana marshes in the winter, it is very common to catch all kinds of different species of fish. Little drum right there. Another good bass. There we go. Whoa, Simba bud. Put this one up and then I'll go over the equipment that we're using here today. All right, the line we're using is our Matrix Mono 17 pound. No need to use fluoro back in here. Water's stained. It's sitting like fishing those finicky trout in crystal clear water in the lake. And I'm using a lemon head matrix on a 3/8 ounce. You're just gonna thread it through. Hook comes out the flat part like that. And we got our matrix rod right here. This is our 6'4" medium with a fast tip. And a brand new little Shimano 150 XC. Nice, beautiful setup. I like it. It even matches the rod there. Looking pretty today, looking sharp. Let's put some more in the boat. Rat red. Another rat red. Just changed the limit from 16 inches to 18 inches. And the 18 inches looking like might be mighty tough for us today. If it was still 16 inches, we'd probably get a limit, no problem. But in the wintertime, it's very common to catch a lot of rat reds. They just get really fired up. You can find them ganged up. And they like to hang out with the bass, like that right there. Little freckle trout. There's Mr. Freckle Trout. Now we're up to 4 species. All we need is a flounder. Fish is pretty cold right there when I grabbed him. He was a little short though, a little short. There we go. Now we got something that's pulling back. Been catching a lot of little stuff today. But now we got something pulling back. It's been non-stop action though between the bass, the rat reds, caught a drum, caught a trout. And now we got us a nice keeper red. Yeah. And as it gets colder and colder, it's still not cold. Like the water temperature's not bad. It's just the water blew out of here. And where I really want to be is in the lake, because the temperature for the trout in the lake is still perfect. It's just when you get a bad westerly wind, it just ruins it. And if you still want to salvage a fishing trip, this is the thing to do. Big old heavy one here, boy. Sucker's fat, wide. That's a good tournament fish there. All right, let's get this one unbuttoned. I'll go ahead and close this episode out with this pretty fish right here. That's a nice heavy one right there. And remember, subscribe to our monthly bait box. You'll be getting our #1 seller, Lemonhead. You'll be getting some Matrix mono to 17 pound that helped us horse these reds in while using our new Matrix rod. These things are awesome. And lots of activity out there. When you get out there and you see that the water's dirty, the water's low, it's cold, and there's not a lot of hope for trout or what you're used to catching, just come back in the marsh and have yourself a blast. This is the best time to fish the marsh, is when the water's gone and low, as it forces all of the fish out to the main canals and you don't have to go pushing way back looking for them. But subscribe to our YouTube channel. We got tons of wintertime marsh videos catching a plethora of fish like we did today. Reds, rat reds, good reds, plenty of bass, drum, and speckled trout. Till next time, guys, good fishing.